If you've ever bought a camera or even thought about buying a camera on eBay, don't even think about clicking off this video. Give me a couple minutes and let me share 7 game-changing tips that I've learned over the years of buying and selling cameras and gear on eBay. I assure you that these tips will help you make a hard decision much easier. You'll also need a sharp knife to open up all your packages from all these great deals you're going to get. I'm just kidding. Number 1, research the seller. Now, I know the first second I say research, everybody's going to click on the next video, but hold on. It's pretty simple. Stay above 97% feedback and take note of how many sales they've had. 97% of a few sales doesn't necessarily inspire confidence. You're looking for something that involves hundreds or even thousands of sales at 97% positive feedback. Now that says something. Of course, 97% applies mainly to eBay stores and camera shops. When buying from an individual, they may only have a handful of sales. So I would recommend buying only from those individuals with 100% feedback. Read the feedback for comments on how well or not so well things were packaged, and how satisfied was the buyer overall. Oh, and above all, only buy from sellers who accept returns. I do not consider buying from sellers who don't accept returns, no matter how good the deal is. Number 2, research the gear. Sometimes searching eBay is like swimming in a vast ocean, but choices are a good thing. You just have to find the best item at the best price you're willing to pay. Items that come with original boxes and original packing material, things like manuals, they're just good indicators that someone's taken excellent care of an item. In my experience, there tends to be 3 kinds of people that keep boxes. That's the people that intend to resell the item, the collector, and the hoarder. In either case, these folks tend not to use their gear as much, or they baby it, but that's good for you. Something else to consider, people do not like paying for shipping. Free shipping is an eye-catching magnet on eBay. Don't be so quick to dismiss an item just because the seller charges for shipping. Believe me, you're paying for the shipping anyway. Many people tend to go for the free shipping tactic, which can actually result in a good bargain for you. When researching an item, it's super important to read the entire description. Click the Read More link under the condition. Read all the details and look at the pics on a computer or a tablet versus a phone. You can really zoom in then and see what you're looking at. Number 3, communicate with the seller. Ask a question just to see how well they respond. This can indicate the seller's communication skill, their demeanor, and their response time. This will give you an idea of what it's going to be like if you have to deal with a problem. As a general rule, I never buy from a seller that I can't get an answer from in the same day. Number 4, look for auctions. Many people tend to shy away from auctions, but auctions are a good way to get the best price. Sometimes you get lucky, but patience is key on eBay. Also, some sellers allow potential buyers to make an offer. However, I think more often than not, this may save $1 or $2, and I mean $1 or $2, but most sellers, they're not going to let it go for your price anyway. So I wouldn't give too much thought to making an offer. I prefer an auction or simply just buy it now. Number 5, add the item to your watch list. Sellers will often offer you deals and discounts, encouraging you to hit that Buy It Now button. Also, look to see how many others are watching the item. A high number of watchers indicates the item is likely going to sell quickly. Watch out for items with low watchers. This may just be a poor listing, or it could be something you missed in the description, like scratches or a box-only deal. I don't think this happens a lot anymore, but I remember a few years back hearing stories about people selling Microsoft Xboxes on eBay, but it turned out to be an Xbox box without the actual box. Look, I'm not a cynical person. I think most people on eBay are genuine. Maybe I'm naive, but I like to think we're better than that. And the fact is that when you consider the sheer number of sellers on eBay versus the number of dissatisfied people, just look at the feedback. It's clear the majority of people are good people. Number 6, look for items being sold in Japan. People often tend to shy away from overseas markets, which can work to your benefit. Indeed, many of these cameras are made in Japan. Having been to Japan and visited many of these camera shops, I can tell you with certainty they're highly competitive, and presentation is very important. I think this leads sellers in Japan to take great care of their gear. Indeed, sometimes sellers will have already replaced the light seals in many of these old film cameras that I love so much. On that note, I made a couple of videos on replacing light seals. It's not a difficult task, and it can be quite rewarding to do it yourself. I'll leave links in the end in the video description. I've bought many lenses from Japan, and I don't think I've ever purchased one that was sold without a UV filter. Honestly, the first thing I do is take it off, and, well, I've got a stack of these UV filters I've never used. Maybe I should resell them on eBay. Just saying. Anyway, I just don't fancy another lens over my lens, but that's a topic for another day. The point is, it's the care and protection of these items that's noteworthy. I've never purchased a lens from Japan that ever had so much as a tiny scratch on the lens. I don't exclude other countries when looking for gear, but as you can see by the attention to detail and the care taken in packing these items, I'm pretty confident I'm getting what's listed and exactly what I'm paying for. I know the shipping is going to be fast and the item's going to be well packaged. I bought this Pentax from ODA Camera in Japan. They were very willing to communicate. They shipped lightning fast. Everything was described accurately, and my every expectation was met. And I just want to say thank you to ODA Camera. You're a great eBayer. Number 7, don't be afraid to take a chance. Unfortunately, I've spoken to a number of people who tell me they're scared of eBay. Everyone has a horror story to tell about someone that got burned on eBay. Bad news travels fast, travels well. Let's face it, the news isn't filled with stories of successful eBay sales and happy customers. It's filled with calamities and stories that are designed to elicit an emotional response. I've been selling on eBay for years, not as a professional eBayer, but as a hobbyist. I'm just an everyday consumer like many folks, and I can tell you that it's never been my intention to burn people to make a buck. Indeed, I simply want to sell an accurately advertised item at a fair price. And I think that's true of most eBayers, probably over 99% of them. But just like in the news, a few bad stories go a long way. There's always going to be scammers out there, but it's up to us to do the homework to protect ourselves. I'll leave you with this thought. I've been buying and selling on eBay for over 20 years, and I can only scarcely remember one issue I had. And I was able to resolve that over a few emails with the buyer. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If so, you may want to check out my video on how to choose the best camera for landscape photography. Also, don't forget to check out those videos I mentioned for replacing light seals. I'll leave the links in the video description. As always, if you like this video though, hit that like button and consider subscribing. And if I don't see you down the road, maybe I'll see you on the trail.